Representative Scott and Senator Murray, ladies and gentlemen. We're here today for one reason, because I sat down with Patty Murray in January and she gave me some good advice and I took it. And the advice was, why don't we see if we can develop a bipartisan beginning to this bill, because we had failed in the last two Congresses, and as a result, we ended up with a bill that was passed by the Senate after many amendments, 81-17. Newsweek magazine recently reminded us what we already know very well: No Child Left Behind is a law that everybody wants fixed. Governors, teachers, superintendents, parents, Republicans, Democrats, students, they all want the law fixed. There is a consensus about that, and fortunately, there's a consensus about how to do it. And that consensus is this: continue the law's important measurements of academic progress for students, but restore to states, school districts, classroom teachers, and parents the responsibility for deciding what to do about improving student achievement. That's why the bill passed the Senate 81-17. That's why the bill had the support of the nation's governors, chief state school officers, school superintendents, the National Education Association, and the American Federation of Teachers. There were some differences between the House and Senate bill. Fundamentally, they were based upon that same consensus. Both and the waivers, through which the U.S. Department of Education has become, in effect, a national school board for more than 80,000 schools in 42 states. Both end the federal Common Core mandate. Both move decisions about whether schools and teachers are succeeding or failing out of Washington, D.C., and back to states and communities and teachers where those decisions belong, because the real way to higher standards, better teachers, and real accountability is through states, communities, and classrooms, not through Washington, D.C. That's why I believe this conference will be successful. Both houses will approve our conference work product, and I believe the President will sign the legislation into law. Even though this agreement, in my opinion, is the most significant step toward local control in schools in 25 years, some Republicans would like to go further. I am one of those. But my Scholarships for Kids proposal, which would have given states the option to allow federal dollars to follow children to the schools their parents choose, only received 43 votes in the Senate. We need 60. So I've decided, like a president named Reagan once advised, that I'll take 80% of what I want, and I'll fight for the other 20% on another day. Besides, if I were to vote no, I'd be voting to leave in place the federal Common Core mandate, the National School Board, the waivers in 42 states. Let me repeat, voting no is voting to leave in place the Common Core mandate, the National School Board, and waivers in 42 states. There are a lot of people counting on us: 50 million children, 3.4 million teachers in 100,000 public schools. The law expired 8 years ago. If it were strictly applied, every school in America would be a failing school. Teachers and children have been waiting all that time. If this were homework, they'd give us a failing grade for being tardy. So I hope we'll remind ourselves, and this is my conclusion, that it is a great privilege to serve in the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate. That there is no need for us to have that privilege if all we do is announce our opinions. We could do that at home, or on the radio, or in the newspaper, or on a street corner. As members of a Congress, after we have our say, our job is to get a result. We're not the Iraqi Parliament. We're members of the United States Congress. And I hope we will demonstrate that we cherish that privilege and that we cherish our children by building upon this consensus, fixing the law that everybody wants fixed, and showing that we are capable of governing by bringing badly needed certainty to federal education policy in 100,000 public schools. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. I now recognize my